So today I'm going to be sharing with you how I've built my basic Conda Ryzen PC. Conda. What's up everybody, it's PJ the Great. I hope you're having a super beautiful day. And if you're new here, I do videos just like this as well as ADHD tips. So if that sounds like your jam, consider subscribing. And to all my returning subscribers, what's up fam? Welcome back. Alright, so today I'm going to be sharing with you my basic Conda Ryzen PC build. I had to do another one. Yes, I kind of got the bug when I helped my friend Bert build his super awesome gaming PC, so I wanted to build a PC of my own. I actually had one that I was working with. I'm a Mac guy, but I do use a PC, and the PC that I used was kind of outdated. I have been on the fence of jumping over to PC, so I also wanted something that was basic but I can build upon it if I should decide to leave Apple and rejoin the PC master race. Alright, so just to give you guys and gals a little heads up, a lot of the items that I picked up, well actually all of the items that I picked up were from Amazon.com, but I did have a couple of items already on hand that's going to go into this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and share what I'm using. This is the AMD A series processor. I got the A8. A stands for Athlon. Now I know what you're thinking. Hey, you said Ryzen. Well, Ryzen-like, because what's cool about these little Athlon processors, they're actually APUs, so you can use it right out of the box and not even have a graphics card. And another thing too, it has the AM4 socket chipset. So it's the same chipset that Ryzen uses. So if you get this to start off, you're gonna need an AM4 motherboard, which is a Ryzen motherboard. So if you've been thinking about making the switch to Ryzen or building your ultimate Ryzen PC and you have all the money that you need to pick up all the pieces, but you just can't afford that Ryzen processor yet, one of these A series might be a good choice for you. People are getting this overclocked to 4.1 gigahertz. So when I heard that, I was like, you know, that's gonna work perfect for me. Now I know what you're saying. I probably could have got like a Ryzen 3, like last year's version, for like 20 bucks more. Yeah, and I took that into consideration, but there were two things that came into play that made me pick this up. The first thing is, like I said, my PC is just my secondary machine. So I wasn't gonna really try to invest a lot of money into it. And if I do decide that I want to jump over to PC and leave Mac behind, I knew I was going to want a Ryzen 7. So either way, like if I upgraded to a Ryzen 7, then I either wasted 80 bucks on a Ryzen 3 or only 57 bucks on this guy. This is a Gigabyte B450M DS3H. That's a mouthful. Motherboard. Now the reason why I picked this guy up is this one actually has 4 DIMM slots, so it allows you to upgrade your RAM up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. So I really like that. And it also has NVMe. So if I ever want to get into that world of NVMe, you know, that world I've been trying to get into with my 2010 Mac Pro, but it never works. Even though there are a lot of people out there saying that it works, I can't get it to work. So if I want to graduate to NVMe on the PC side, I can do that right here with this motherboard. Next we have the RAM. I decided to go with the XPG, that's by AData. 16 gigabyte, that's 2 8 gigabyte sticks of DDR4 3000 RAM. Now that A8 can only support up to 2666. And you know what, I just got the 3000 because once again, future proof. And it's a pretty decent price. I paid like 80 bucks for it. That I think was still in comparison to the Corsair RAM out there and the other RAM that you can get. I did not check compatibility with Ryzen chips, and I probably should have did that before I picked these up. But luckily, after I picked it up, I did the research and found out that these will work with my i8 and Ryzen chips just fine. They're not optimized for Ryzen, but hey, they'll work. Now, since we're talking about overclocking that AMD A series A8, I wanted to get some proper cooling, or as my friend Bert likes to call it, coolage. I decided to pick up here. It was roughly around 60 bucks. And I figured this was future proofing as well, because this will take care of me when I decide to overclock the A8. And I'm thinking I'm probably not going to go any higher than, say, maybe 3.7 gigahertz. I don't want to push it, even though people said they can get 4.1. But this will help me push it without any issues. Definitely better than the stock cooler that comes with this processor, because that thing is super wimpy. Now I'm going to need to give this budget build some juice. So what I decided to go with was the Thermaltake Smart 500 watt Smart Series power supply. This is 500 watts as mentioned, comes with a 5-year warranty, it's Haswell-ready, continuous power, ultra quiet 120 millimeter fan. Paid like 37 bucks for this. Man, that's like a steal. The only thing I don't like about it is it's not modular, but hey, trying to do a little budget build here, so decided to go with this. I could have got a modular one or a semi-modular for like a couple bucks more, but I was trying to save money. Probably a little bit more than I need, but I am planning to put a GPU in here. I think this was a smart pickup. And this right here, this is the Sapphire AMD Radeon RX. I'm gonna have to read this one because like this name is so long I can't remember it. Sapphire Radeon R9 270X 4GB GPU. I'm gonna throw this thing into this build, and I already had it lying around the house. Little history with this thing. I purchased it like about a year ago for my 2010 Mac Pro. Didn't like it. It was too slow. It was only running at 2.5 instead of 5. And so I decided to get rid of it. Sold it on eBay. The person that bought it said it didn't work. There was like green lines all over the screen. It worked just fine when I sold it, so I kind of think he's just like full of it. So I had to give him a refund. He sent it back. It's just been sitting in my closet. Never tested it to see if it works. So I'm gonna throw it into this new build and hopefully it works, because to be honest with you, I don't want to use the onboard graphics. And for the storage, I am going to give this new budget build diarrhea.
Diarrhea, cha-cha-cha, diarrhea, cha-cha-cha.
My friends over at Diarrhea, they sent me this 1TB SSD to review on my channel. You know, I compared it to the Samsung 860 QVO that I have. You can check out that video right up here. This SSD has just been sitting around collecting dust. So what better place to put it than in this new build? So my budget Ryzen kinda build is gonna get diarrhea. And last but not least, the case. What am I throwing this build in? Well, I'm actually gonna throw it in a Vivo case. When I saw this case on Amazon, I was like, wow, are you kidding me? This case is like 35 bucks. I think it's pretty cool. Case, and it comes with blue lights on the front, 2 fans that are in blue lights. Then inside of the case there's like a lot of room for like 2 3.5-inch hard drives, as well as 2 SSD 2.5-inch drives. But it didn't come with a rear fan, and they said it was pretty much optional, but if I just picked this guy up, this is an Arctic 120 millimeter fan. Nothing to write home to mom and dad about. Paid like $8 for it. All right, so everything that I have just mentioned with the exception of the things that I already had on hand, only set me back $346.50. That's pretty kick-ass. I like that. And if you're considering doing the build like this, you're throwing that R9 GPU, that'll only run you roughly about 90 bucks on eBay. The 1 terabyte diarrhea SSD, that'll only run you about 109 on Amazon.com. So you factor those two in there and you go up to like roughly around 550 bucks for this build, which I think is pretty damn awesome. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna share some footage with you guys of the actual build, get it all put together, and then I'm gonna run some tests on it to see how well it performs, and then we will be right back to let you know if this was actually worth it or not.
Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine.
Got it in the right slots this time, guys and gals.
Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine. Wanna move my feet, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine, wanna drink my wine, wanna move my feet, 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 wanna drink my wine.
We are back. It is a new day, and you can see right there, right behind me, there is my new budget Ryzen-like build. All put together, all assembled, ready to go. A couple of more tinkering things that I have to do to it to get it running the way that I want it to run. So the first thing I have to mention, there are a couple of mishaps in this build. First mishap was the cooling system. Didn't work. Up here didn't work. So this build actually only took me 3 hours, and that's with taking like multiple breaks in between the build, but it extended another 2 hours troubleshooting, trying to figure out why this thing was overheating. And I did everything from seeing if I installed the AIO correctly or if I didn't apply enough thermal paste, so I checked that again. And finally I just gave up and I said, it's gotta be something wrong with this thing. So I decided to just rip it out of my system and put it in the box and send it back to Amazon and get my $60 back. So that meant I had to go with that pathetic, wimpy cooling system that came with the A8. I mean, this thing is like, now I know this thing is only 4 cores and 3.1 gigahertz, but AMD is really thinking that, and they should know better than anybody because they put this thing together. This is all you need to cool it. Look at this thing. This is pathetic. This is really. So that just goes to show you that this little chip probably doesn't get that hot if this little pathetic cooling system came with it. So I was a little upset that, you know, I was going to have to use this at least until I got another AIO. No overclocking, even though I've heard people overclock even using this little measly fan. But then I got to thinking, what if I... Just kidding. I didn't get a Ryzen 7. This is actually from my friend Bert's build that we did. This is his box. But as you know, he did opt to get an AIO. He got a Corsair one. And he gave me the cooling fan to his Ryzen 7. Now, as we all know, these come with the Wraith Prism RGB heatsink and fan coolers. And I thought to myself, if this thing is good enough to cool a Ryzen 7, this thing could probably do wonders on my A8. So I threw it in there, and I'm not afraid to overclock using the Wraith Prism cooler for the Ryzen 7. So sending that AIO back to up here that didn't work, may not need to pick up another one for a while until I decide to upgrade, because I think this Wraith Prism cooler is going to do just fine overclocking on the A8. Kind of lucked out. Another hiccup that I ran into this whole process. Yeah, this thing's dead, and kind of pisses me off because it worked just fine when I shipped it off to the guy that I sold it to. And I know I packed it really good, packed it nice and secure. So I don't know what the hell he did to it, but lo and behold, it does have green lines all over the screen. Currently at the time, I am using the built-in graphics on the A8, but that is going to be very short-lived because I just purchased a Red Devil RX 580 8GB GPU to throw inside of my 2010 Mac Pro. So once I throw that in there, the NVIDIA GTX 680 classified that I have in there, 4GB, is coming out of there, and I'm gonna throw it in here. So outside of those little hiccups, guys and gals, I have to say that this build was actually easy. It was like super easy. Now I was expecting it to go pretty simple, fast, quick, in a hurry. A lot faster than it took for me to build my friend Bert's computer. And I think it was because like I had a build underneath my belt, but I don't want to credit that too much because, as I mentioned, I've repaired computers before, so building one is no different. I think one of the reasons why it was a lot quicker is because, by the way, me and my friends started at like 1 o'clock. We didn't finish until midnight, and to be honest with you, we weren't even finished. There was no OS installed on it yet. I didn't really have to worry about filming and entertaining. I just built 3 hours for like my second build. That's pretty damn awesome. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't really want to do any Geekbench or Cinebench testing on this PC build right now because I don't have a dedicated GPU, but I figured, why not? Let's do it and then see where we're at right now and then see where we go once I get that 680 classified in there. So Geekbench is my favorite. I ran that test and I'll put the results on the screen here. It'll be better right here. So I ran it the first time and that was at stock speeds, 3.1 gigahertz. And you can see that's what I got right there. Not bad, to be honest with you. The single core score is like, okay, it's decent. I was expecting a little bit more than that, but it's decent. And the multi-core score, a little shocked by that. I was expecting it to be a little bit higher, but it's really not that bad. You compare it to my 2010 Mac Pro that has a 6-core Xeon 3.46 in there. The single core score is not too far off, and the multi-core score is like almost like half of what that machine is, but 6-core, 4-core Xeon, even though that's old, that was a top of the line processor back in its day. So when you do that comparison, it's really not that bad. Then I decided to overclock it. I went ahead and overclocked it. I went up to 3.5 gigahertz and then I ran Geekbench again, and here are those scores there. And slight improvement, not by much. As mentioned, people are saying that they've pushed it all the way up to 4.1. I don't know how comfortable I am doing that without an AIO, but a lot of people saying they're doing it with that little Peasley fan that came with the processor, and they've been doing just fine. So I may try and kick it up another notch. I think I won't try and go any higher than like 3.7, but for right now I'm gonna sit at 3.5. Also did Cinebench for the first time. I've never done Cinebench testing before, and here's the Cinebench score right over here at stock 3.1, and then I ran it again at 3.5 overclocking. And I also adjusted the RAM. I upped the voltage a little bit, so since I couldn't like do anything else, like as far as increase it over 24, increase the voltage a little bit, and those are the scores right there. I mean, it's like you look at them side by side, it was actually no point in overclocking it from 3.1 to 3.5. I mean, it already gives you a boost of 3.4 anyway. So yeah, I'm probably gonna try and push it to 3.7. I figured, hey, if I can do a little budget build for like under $400, why not do it? And you will probably be in the same boat as well, or maybe you're in the boat like me and you're thinking about moving to like a Ryzen setup and you want to build the ultimate rig, but you only have a little certain budget. Right now, there are certain things that you can get right now that will get you up and running and then have you set up to upgrade in the near future. I mean, if you wanted to, get an old Ryzen 3. I could have done that for $20 more, but I explained my situation, why I didn't do it. I feel like this case over here was a steal at $35. I will admit that cable management was a straight up B because they really don't give you a lot of room to work with in the back. That's the reason why I didn't film any of that, because I had to apply like brute force to get the back lid back onto this thing, because the cable, the room they give you back there is just like not ideal at all. The cable management I think is on point considering what they gave me, but yeah, brute force to get that back. place back on there. Outside of that, there's really nothing I would change in this build. I'm happy with the processor, the motherboard, the power supply, the case, the SSD from Diarrhea. And hey, special shout out to Diarrhea. I mean, I did that comparison test between that SSD and my 1 terabyte Cuvo from Samsung, and this thing was like just a little bit behind the QVO. Well, let me tell you something. You put it in a system that is running at true SATA 3 and not a PCIe slot that's supposed to give you that same speed. Look at this speed. Look, right here. Right, oh no, here it is. Right here. That's crazy. Putting that in this build was like wise. If you haven't already, and they're not sponsoring me, go and check out their 1 terabyte SSD because man, I'm impressed. Now, since I have to return that up here cooler and I decided to use that Wraith Prism, this is only $286.50 out of pocket for this build. Take into consideration I already have monitors, keyboard, mouse, trackball, so on and so forth, GPU, SSD, but $286.50. Most people can do that because most people already have a PC and are looking to build their first one or to upgrade. That's not bad for what I just got out of this at all. Of course, you have to factor in picking up Windows 10, but you can actually use Windows 10 for free for like as long as you want, until you can afford to pick up a product key. And there's a lot of places out there where you can pick up a legit product key for like way less than what Microsoft is charging. So definitely look into that. I already have, and I purchased a product key for like 10 bucks. There you go. Throw another $10 on there, that's nothing. If you guys and gals like this video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. But don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time I upload new videos just like this, tech style and ADHD style. Until I see you in the next video, this is PJ the Great saying Audi 5000G. I'm a little curious to see how this machine might be able to handle DaVinci Resolve 16. Because to be honest with you, that's the only thing that's keeping me in the Apple ecosystem is Final Cut Pro 10.
Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine. Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine. Wanna move my feet.